I am 39 years old and I'm about to turn 40 in a little over 7 months, and I'm really freaking out about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is every person's experience when they get to this milestone age, but last night I woke up with a lot of anxiety and just this overwhelming feeling that like I'm so behind in life, and there's also this like grief that comes with it as well. Because I'm not married and I don't have children, which are two things that I want and have wanted for a while. And I guess it just feels like there's this grief of like that may not happen for me in this lifetime. And that makes me feel really sad.
Have you ever wondered what happens when one side of society keeps pushing the boundaries further and further, demanding more while giving less, until the other side finally says enough and simply walks away? We are living in that moment right now where countless women are waking up to the reality that opportunities for traditional marriage and family have slipped away, often irreversibly, while men across the globe are choosing peace over chaos, self fulfillment over obligation. Stick with me through this entire discussion because by the end, I will reveal the profound shift that is reshaping society in ways no one saw coming, and why this trend shows no signs of reversing. And if you want more great Angry Guy content and to get every single video the moment we release it, make sure to like this video, share it with others, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell and select all. Also, check out Angry's Crypto Academy to learn how to protect and safeguard your assets and grow your wealth. It is the place to master how to buy, sell, and trade crypto effectively. The Academy is linked in the description of this video, so go check it out now. And if you're enjoying these Angry Guy videos, you can show your support by buying me a Red Bull using the link in the description of the video. Let us dive into this topic with clear eyes and an honest perspective. Today, we are seeing a growing number of women expressing deep regret and frustration because they feel it is now too late for them to build the marriages and families they once assumed would always be available. Many have reached an age where starting a family becomes significantly more challenging, and they are finding that high quality men are no longer pursuing them in the ways they expected. Meanwhile, men in massive numbers have chosen to step back, to walk away, and to prioritize their own peace and well being. This is not some sudden whim. It is the culmination of decades of shifting dynamics that have left many men feeling exhausted, undervalued, and wary of the risks involved in traditional relationships. Think about the story unfolding over the past 50 years. Society has undergone profound changes, largely influenced by movements that promised empowerment, but in many cases created division and imbalance. Women were encouraged to embrace independence, to challenge traditional roles, and to demand equality in every sphere. That sounded noble at the outset, and in many ways, it led to genuine progress. Women entered workplaces in record numbers, achieved higher education, and gained financial autonomy. No one disputes the value of those advancements, but alongside that empowerment came a narrative that increasingly portrayed traditional masculinity as problematic, even toxic. Men were told, sometimes directly and often indirectly, that their natural traits, their strength, their protectiveness, their drive, were flaws to be corrected rather than strengths to be celebrated. Over time, this messaging intensified. Men heard repeatedly that they were not needed in the same ways anymore. Women declared independence loudly and proudly, stating that they could handle everything on their own, from careers to raising children. Phrases like, I do not need, a man became cultural mantras, celebrated in media, music, and social circles. Men listened. They took those words at face value, and gradually they began to adjust their behavior accordingly. Why pursue, provide, and protect if your efforts are dismissed or even criticized? Why invest deeply in relationships where your role is questioned or diminished? This shift did not happen in isolation. It was amplified by a series of cultural and legal developments that tilted the scales heavily in one direction. Consider the family court system, for instance. For decades, men have navigated divorce proceedings where outcomes often seemed predetermined. Assets built together were divided unevenly. Child custody arrangements favored one side disproportionately, and ongoing financial obligations extended far beyond the end of the marriage. Many men emerged from these experiences financially devastated, emotionally drained, and wary of ever repeating the process. Story after story emerged of good men who worked tirelessly to support their families, only to lose access to their children and a significant portion of their earnings. These were not rare exceptions. They became the expected outcome, shared widely among men as cautionary tales. Then came broader social campaigns that further alienated men. Terms were coined to criticize everyday male behaviors, things as innocuous as how a man sits on public transportation. Accusations flew freely, turning normal interactions into potential minefields. Men learned quickly that approaching a woman in a gym, offering a compliment, or even making eye contact could be interpreted as harassment. Smartphones became tools for public shaming, with videos recorded and posted online to ruin reputations over perceived slights. Men adapted by withdrawing, by keeping interactions minimal, by avoiding risks altogether. In dating, the dynamics grew even more lopsided. Women raised standards exponentially, demanding height, income, status, and emotional availability, while often bringing instability or unrealistic expectations to the table. Dates became transactional, with expensive outings expected, but no guarantee of genuine connection. Men paid for dinners, gifts, and experiences only to be ghosted or friend zoned. Apps and social groups emerged where women shared details about dates, warning each other about men who did not meet every criterion, effectively blacklisting them from future opportunities. Paternity issues added another layer of distrust, with cases where men raised children believing they were their own, only to discover otherwise years later. All of this built up gradually, like pressure in a fault line. Men observed patterns, shared experiences, and reached a collective conclusion. The risks far outweighed the rewards. They saw that relationships often brought chaos rather than harmony, drama rather than support. Women, in many instances, position themselves as bringing the value simply by existing as the table, in their words, while expecting men to build everything around it. But men began to question that premise. They realized that solitude did not equate to loneliness, that being alone could actually bring clarity, peace, and self acceptance. And this is where the real turning point occurred. Men rediscovered minimalism in their lives. By nature, many men thrive with simplicity. They do not need endless material possessions or constant validation. Remove the obligations, the financial drains, the emotional turmoil, the societal expectations, and what remains is freedom. Men started investing in themselves, their health, their hobbies, their finances, their personal growth. They traveled solo, built businesses, pursued passions long neglected. They kept their earnings, rested without guilt, and focused on self preservation. Historically, men have always stood as buffers between women and the harsher realities of the world. They took on dangerous jobs, provided resources, offered protection. But when that role was rejected, when men were told they were unnecessary or problematic for fulfilling it, they stepped aside. Now, women are encountering those realities firsthand. Rising costs of living, safety concerns, career pressures, these challenges hit differently without the traditional partnership structure. Social media fills with videos of women lamenting the lack of dates, the absence of providers, the difficulty of going it alone. Some express confusion, others anger, a few outright demand that men return to old roles. But men are not responding. They have seen through the patterns, trusting observable actions over promises. This movement, MWA, men walking away, is not about bitterness or revenge. It is about choice, about prioritizing mental health and happiness in a system that felt rigged against them. Men are thriving in ways society did not anticipate. With fewer expenses tied to relationships or families, they accumulate wealth faster. They enjoy lower stress, better sleep, more freedom. Simple lives become luxurious when unburdened by constant demands. As this trend accelerates, the implications for society are massive. Birth rates decline, marriage rates plummet, traditional family structures evolve or fade. Women face a marketplace where committed men are scarce, leading to competition and regret among those who delayed or dismissed opportunities earlier. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. Men, meanwhile, report higher life satisfaction, stronger friendships, deeper self knowledge. Right, let us explore this further through real world examples and patterns. Consider the young professional man in his 30s. He works hard, earns well, stays fit. A decade ago, he would have been eagerly pursuing marriage, settling down. Today, he opts out. Why? Because he has watched friends go through brutal divorces, losing homes, savings, and relationships with their kids. He has dated women who expected lavish treatment while offering little reciprocity. He chooses instead to invest in property, travel the world, build a network of like minded men. His life is calm, purposeful, joyful. Or think about the broader cultural signals. Media once portrayed men as bumbling fools or villains, women as flawless heroes. Men internalize that, stepping back from leadership roles in relationships. When women complained about where the good men went, men pointed to the messaging. You said you did not need us. We believed you. Pattern recognition became men's greatest ally. They noticed inconsistencies. Women claiming independence yet expecting provision, demanding equality yet retaining privileges, celebrating freedom yet mourning its consequences. Trust eroded, men shifted to evidence based decisions. What does reality show? Chaos in relationships, favoritism in courts, shaming in public. The conclusion was clear: walk away. This is not universal, of course. Many healthy, balanced relationships exist where mutual respect thrives. But the scale has tipped, and the majority trend is unmistakable. Men are minimalist by design, content with essentials. Remove drama, and luxury emerges naturally. Women now voice desperation in viral clips, begging for commitment, questioning why men ghost or avoid apps. The answer lies in accumulated experiences. Men learned that engagement often led to extraction of time, money, energy without equivalent return. They saw female nature, as some call it, in raw form, the tendency toward chaos for attention, validation seeking through conflict. By choosing peace, men rediscover themselves. They mentor younger generations, build communities, achieve financial independence early. Society feels the ripple. Fewer providers mean higher burdens on systems, declining populations in many nations. Yet men remain unmoved. They thrive keeping resources for personal goals, retirement, adventures, philanthropy on their terms. Rest becomes priority. Worry fades. This story is still unfolding, but the direction is set. Men walked away, found peace, and society adjusts around them. And as we continue this exploration, let us paint a clearer picture of how this transformation unfolded in the lives of everyday men. Take a moment to imagine a man in his late 20s or early 30s, someone who grew up absorbing all the cultural messages around him. From a young age, he was taught to be respectful, to work hard, to one day become a provider and protector. He watched movies where the hero wins the girl through effort and sacrifice. He heard stories from older generations about building a family as the ultimate goal. So he set out with that blueprint in mind. He studied, built a career, stayed physically fit, developed hobbies, and approached dating with genuine intent. He wanted partnership, commitment, maybe children down the line. But as he entered the dating world, reality hit differently than the script he had been handed. At first, the mismatches were subtle. He would plan thoughtful dates, pay for everything as expected, listen attentively, and show consistent interest. Yet responses often felt lukewarm. Women he dated spoke openly about their independence, how they did not need a man to complete them, how they were focused on their own journeys. Fair enough, he thought. He respected that. But then, the expectations remained firmly traditional when it came to his role. He was still supposed to initiate, pursue, pay, plan, and prove himself endlessly. Meanwhile, reciprocity felt optional. Compliments were scrutinized for hidden motives. Efforts were sometimes met with tests or games designed to gauge his tolerance. And over time, he noticed a pattern. The more he gave, the more was demanded, but the return diminished. He began hearing similar stories from friends. One lost months to a relationship that ended abruptly with no explanation. Another spent thousands on dates only to be told he was great, but not quite what she was looking for. A third watched a long term partner walk away, taking half his assets in the process despite minimal contribution. These experiences accumulated like deposits in a bank of caution. Men started talking more openly in private circles, sharing observations without the filter of public judgment. They compared notes on dating apps where profiles demanded six figures, 6 feet, six pack abs, while offering little insight into what the woman brought beyond her presence. They discussed the viral posts celebrating women who made men wait months for intimacy while expecting full commitment up front. They laughed bitterly at the contradictions, women claiming empowerment, yet relying on male attention for validation, declaring self sufficiency, yet struggling with basic independence when the support vanished. Pattern recognition sharpened. Men realized that much of what they had been told about relationships was idealized marketing, not grounded reality. Now let us shift to the women's side of the story, not to vilify, but to understand the full arc. Many women grew up with a different set of messages. Empowerment movements told them they could have it all: career success, independence, adventure, and eventually family on their timeline. Media reinforced that they were prizes to be won, that men should chase relentlessly, that settling was failure. Social circles echoed this, celebrating the woman who kept options open longest, who extracted the most while committing the least. Delaying marriage became a badge of honor, proof of living fully. Career first, travel first, self discovery first. The biological clock was dismissed as outdated pressure, something science would eventually solve. High standards were encouraged, even when they bordered on fantasy. The result? Many women invested their prime years in experiences, education, and casual connections, assuming committed men would always be waiting when they were ready to opt in. But biology and human nature do not bend to ideology. Fertility windows close, attraction dynamics shift with age. The men who once pursued eagerly gain experience, wisdom, and options of their own. They see the landscape clearly. Why commit resources to someone who spent years prioritizing everything else, who now approaches with urgency born of regret? Why enter arrangements where history suggests imbalance? Men watched as women in their 30s and 40s flooded dating markets with new demands, often seeking the stability they once rejected. Viral content emerged, women filming themselves crying over the lack of good men, demanding to know where they went, insisting they deserved commitment now. Some blamed men outright for not stepping up. Others acknowledged personal choices but framed them as empowerment rather than consequence. Meanwhile, the men who walked away found something unexpected: profound contentment. Minimalism became their philosophy by default. Without the constant outflow of resources, dates, gifts, shared expenses, future family planning, finances grew rapidly. A modest income stretched further when spent only on personal needs. Gym memberships, healthy food, quality clothing, travel, investments, simple pleasures became abundant. Weekends, once filled with relationship maintenance, turned into pursuits of passion. Hiking, reading, building skills, connecting with male friends in deeper ways. Brotherhood strengthened. Men gathered not to complain endlessly, but to support growth, share knowledge, celebrate wins. Loneliness, that feared specter, rarely materialized. Solitude brought clarity. Self acceptance deepened. Many reported sleeping better, stressing less, smiling more. Let us tell a specific story to illustrate this shift. Consider Mark, a software engineer in his mid 30s. 5 years ago, Mark was engaged. He earned well, planned a wedding, dreamed of kids. His fiancée, however, maintained an active social life that often left him sidelined. Arguments escalated over boundaries, finances, future plans. When she ended it abruptly, citing his emotional unavailability despite his consistent efforts, Mark felt crushed. The recovery took time. Therapy helped, friends listened. Then he discovered online communities discussing these exact dynamics. For the first time, he felt seen. He learned about minimalism, financial independence, the value of boundaries. He sold unnecessary possessions, paid off debt, invested aggressively. He traveled to Asia alone, hiked mountains in Europe, built a home gym. Dating attempts post breakup confirmed the patterns. High demands, low investment from matches. So he stopped. Peace arrived quietly but powerfully. Today, Mark wakes without anxiety, works on projects he loves, mentors younger engineers, plans early retirement. Women occasionally approach him now, drawn to his calm confidence. He engages politely, but commits to nothing. Peace is too valuable to risk. Stories like Mark's multiply daily. Men across professions, backgrounds, countries report similar arcs. Blue collar workers who once worked overtime to support girlfriends now save for property. Entrepreneurs channel energy into businesses rather than relationships. Retirees enjoy pensions unshared. The common thread? Removal of chaos equals emergence of luxury. Men need little to thrive: purpose, health, resources, freedom. Relationships, when imbalanced, drain those essentials. Society begins feeling the weight. Declining birth rates in developed nations reach crisis levels. Governments incentivize family formation with limited success. Women voice frustration in increasing volumes. Dating apps feel barren of serious men. Social events lack prospects. Traditional venues yield nothing. Some adapt by lowering standards or pursuing solo paths. Others double down on demands, insisting men must return. But men observe from afar, unmoved. They trusted words once, did declarations of independence, and acted accordingly. Reversing now requires more than request. It demands systemic change, cultural recalibration, genuine reciprocity. Consider the economic ripple. Men retaining earnings boost personal wealth accumulation. Savings rates climb among single men. Investments flow into markets. Entrepreneurship rises as risk tolerance grows without family dependencies. Consumption shifts. Experiences over obligations, quality over quantity. Women facing higher independent costs navigate tighter budgets. Housing markets adjust as fewer couples form. Family oriented industries contract while male focused sectors expand. Fitness, gaming, adventure travel, personal development. Psychologically, the shift proves transformative. Men report lower depression rates, higher self esteem, stronger purpose. Removing external validation needs fosters internal strength. Spiritual pursuits deepen for many. Communities form around shared values rather than romantic pursuit. Mentorship flourishes as older men guide younger ones towards self reliance early. Women navigate newfound realities differently. Some thrive independently, building impressive lives solo or with friends. Others struggle with isolation, financial pressure, unfulfilled family desires. Regret surfaces in quiet moments, voiced publicly through content that garners millions of views. The question, where have all the good men gone, echoes endlessly, answered silently by men who chose peace. This movement gains momentum organically. No central leader orchestrates it. Instead, individual choices aggregate into cultural force. Men share knowledge quietly. Invest first, commit never, unless terms favor balance, prioritize peace always. Younger generations absorb this wisdom earlier, opting out before deep investment. The pipeline of willing providers shrinks further. Traditional institutions adapt slowly. Marriage rates hit historic lows, wedding industries contract, family law practices shift focus, media narratives evolve from celebrating independence to questioning consequences. Documentaries explore the phenomenon. Experts debate causes and solutions. Yet the core driver remains unchanged. Men discovered happiness without the previous burdens. Let us examine another angle, the role of technology in accelerating this. Dating apps designed for connection exposed dynamics starkly. Abundance of options for women created hyper selection. Scarcity for average men bred disillusionment. Social media amplified voices declaring male obsolescence. Men consumed that content, adjusted behavior. Private groups formed where truth spoke freely. Knowledge spread virally, but discreetly. Today, a man can live comfortably on moderate income without relationship overhead. Rent a nice apartment, eat well, travel annually, save aggressively, add a relationship, and cost double or triple while benefits remain uncertain. Rational choice becomes obvious. Emotional fulfillment arrives through friendships, achievements, personal growth. Women witnessing this shift respond variably. Some introspect, acknowledging past contributions to the divide. Others externalize blame entirely. A growing middle ground emerges. Women advocating mutual respect, balanced expectations, genuine partnership. These voices gain traction slowly among men wary from experience. The future unfolds unpredictably, yet clearly directional. Population declines reshape economies. Immigration policies adjust. Cultural values realign toward individual fulfillment. Traditional gender roles fade further, replaced by chosen arrangements or solitude. Men, having tasted peace, guard it fiercely. They extend empathy, but not obligation. Society evolves around their choices rather than dictating them. This reversal of historical patterns proves profound. As we reflect on this ongoing story, patterns solidify. Men walked away, not from women entirely, but from unbalanced systems. They embraced minimalism, discovered abundance within simplicity. Women confront consequences of delayed commitment, heightened standards, cultural messaging. Society navigates transition toward unknown equilibrium. The beauty lies in choice. Men exercise agency, long denied. Peace becomes priority. Happiness flows from within. As we delve deeper into this evolving narrative, let us consider the broader historical context that set the stage for where we find ourselves today. For centuries, societal structures revolved around complementary roles between men and women. Men took on the bulk of dangerous labor, resource provision, and physical protection, while women managed home, child rearing, and emotional nurturing. This division was not perfect nor without flaws, but it created a functional balance that allowed civilizations to thrive. Men derived purpose from their provider role, women from their nurturing one. Marriage served as the binding contract, incentivizing mutual investment. Children benefited from stable two parent homes. Communities strengthened through interconnected families. This model endured because it aligned with observable human tendencies and biological realities. Then came the seismic shifts of the 20th century. Industrialization pulled women into workplaces. Birth control decoupled intimacy from procreation. Feminist waves challenged restrictions, demanding access to education, voting, careers. These changes brought undeniable benefits: greater freedom, opportunity, safety for women. Men largely supported this progress, celebrating daughters' achievements, wives' ambitions. But as momentum built, the narrative evolved beyond equality into something more transformative. Traditional male roles were not just questioned, they were increasingly framed as oppressive. Masculinity itself became suspect. Traits like stoicism, competitiveness, protectiveness were labeled toxic. Boys in schools faced discipline for natural behaviors, rough play, high energy, while curricula favored styles suiting girls. Media portrayed fathers as incompetent, husbands as burdens. The message seeped in everywhere: men as problems to solve. Simultaneously, legal systems tilted. No fault divorce empowered exits, but often punished the higher earner, typically men. Custody defaults favored mothers, even in shared contribution homes. Support obligations extended decades, regardless of circumstances. Men absorbed these risks quietly, still committing because cultural inertia demanded it. They married, provided, sacrificed, believing it the right path. But outcomes soured for many. Divorce rates climbed past 50%. Initiations overwhelmingly came from women. Financial ruin followed for countless men. Story spread. Decades of work transferred overnight. Children alienated, reputations damaged by accusations. Caution grew. Dating culture compounded the unease. As women gained economic power, expectations did not adjust downward, they rose. The provider role persisted despite dual incomes. Men still paid, planned, pursued. But now, women held veto power amplified by options. Casual connections multiplied, commitment delayed. The sexual marketplace, as some term it, became lopsided. Top tier men thrived with abundance, average men struggled for attention. Below average faced invisibility. Resentment brewed on all sides, but men internalized the loudest criticisms: improve more, earn more, emote more. Yet never enough. Technology accelerated exposure. Internet forums allowed anonymous truth telling. Men shared divorce horror stories, dating frustrations, workplace biases. Patterns emerged undeniable: favoritism in courts, hypocrisy in expectations, shaming for natural desires. Red pill philosophy crystallized: not hatred, but realism. Observe actions, not words. Trust patterns, not promises. Knowledge spread virally. Younger men absorbed it early, altering trajectories before deep damage. Now picture a 25-year-old today. He grows up seeing uncles devastated by divorce, fathers limited to weekend visits, friends ghosted after expensive dates. Media tells him his gender is flawed. School punishes his energy. He learns quickly. Excelling brings scrutiny. Failing brings ridicule. So he focuses inward: gym for health, books for knowledge, skills for income, investments for security. Dating becomes optional, low priority, risks too high, rewards too uncertain. He builds a life of quiet abundance: nice apartment, reliable car, annual trips, growing portfolio. Friends join similar paths. Brotherhood replaces romantic pursuit as emotional anchor. Contrast this with women in parallel age groups. Many follow empowerment scripts faithfully: education, career climb, travel, experiences. Marriage viewed as future option, not urgency. Standards listed publicly: height, Income, aesthetics, emotional intelligence, options feel endless in youth. Casual relationships suffice. Commitment can wait, but time progresses relentlessly. 30s arrive. Biological urges surface. Family desires sharpen. Dating pool shifts. Men their age or older now prioritize peace, wary of past patterns. Younger women compete vigorously. High value men select cautiously or opt out entirely. Content explodes online. Women documenting struggles. Where are the committed men? Why no dates? Why must I settle? Frustration mounts as reality bites. Cost of independence hit fully. Rent alone, bills alone, safety concerns alone, emotional weight alone. Some adapt gracefully, building rich solo lives. Others cycle through resentment, bargaining, demands for male return. Viral monologues plead, "We made mistakes, come back." But trust eroded too deeply. Men remember declarations of non need. They acted accordingly, and this disconnect fuels the current impasse. Women experience consequences of delayed commitment in concentrated form. Men enjoy fruits of early withdrawal. Gap widens, society strains. Let us explore workplace dynamics contributing here. Men historically dominated dangerous fields: construction, mining, military, policing. Risks accepted for higher pay, provider status. But as messaging labeled masculinity problematic, boys steered away. Trades face shortages, infrastructure strains. Meanwhile, women entered safer professions en masse. Gender gaps widened in STEM, yet focus remained on increasing female representation rather than male retention in hazardous roles. Men retreated further, seeking safer, remote, or entrepreneurial paths. Burnout decreased, longevity increased, financial independence shifted power, men saving aggressively reach goals faster solo, home ownership rises among single men, retirement accounts balloon, women face higher lifestyle costs, fashion, beauty maintenance, social expectations, while navigating wage gaps in some fields. Savings lag. Security feels precarious. Parenting desires complicate further. Women voice longing for children powerfully. Fertility science offers extensions, but no guarantees. Costs soar for alternatives. Donors, IVF, surrogacy, emotional toll heavy. Men, observing from distance, feel no obligation to subsidize. They protected, traditionally, role rejected, protection withdrawn. Communities reflect changes. Churches, once marriage focused, see declining male attendance. Social clubs shift. Hobbies segregate naturally. Men gather for sports, gaming, fitness, philosophy. Bonds deepen without romantic interference. Women form parallel circles, yet report higher isolation rates. Media attempts course correction slowly. Articles question feminism's unintended effects. Documentaries interview walking away men. Voices advocate balance, mutual respect. But momentum lags behind lived reality. Younger generations accelerate trends. Gen Z men embrace minimalism natively. Digital natives prioritize experiences, flexibility, marriage viewed skeptically, children optional. Women in same cohort face intensified competition earlier. Awareness grows, adjustments begin for some. Economic signals strengthen resolve. Inflation bites. Housing unaffordable for many couples, let alone singles. Men adapt by relocating, downsizing, investing, freedom preserved. Women navigate similar pressures with fewer buffers. Health outcomes diverge positively for men. Lower stress reduces cardiac risks. Better sleep, diet, exercise compound. Mental clarity sharpens. Purpose self derived proves sustainable. Women report rising anxiety, depression in surveys, isolation compounds. Support networks strain. Regret narratives multiply. This is not celebration of suffering, it is observation of consequences. Choices aggregate into outcomes. Men chose peace after exhaustion. Women chose freedom, now navigating results. Future scenarios branch. One path, cultural recalibration toward balance. Mutual respect revives. Expectations align. Healthy partnerships increase. Another, continued divergence. Parallel societies emerge. Solo lives normalize. Technology fills gaps. Virtual companions. Artificial reproduction. Third, external pressures force adaptation. Economic collapse. Geopolitical threats revive traditional incentives. Current trajectory favors continued divergence. Men guard peace jealously. Trust rebuilds slowly, if at all. Let us tell another story grounding this. Alex, former military, now contractor. Deployments shaped discipline, risk tolerance, post service, sought partnership, dated seriously, found patterns repeated, demands high, appreciation low. One relationship drained savings through shared expenses, ended abruptly. Recovery involved soul searching, discovered minimalist communities, sold possessions, bought land, built tiny home, works seasonally, travels off grid, peace profound. Women message occasionally, responses polite, non committal, life full. Multiply Alex by millions. Pattern holds. Women counterparts share counter stories. Successful careers, vibrant friends, yet quiet ache for family. Evenings alone prompt reflection. Content creation channels feelings, views soar. Comments divide. Empathy versus accountability. Dialogue emerges haltingly. Some bridges build, most remain apart. Society absorbs shock slowly. Institutions evolve or decline. New norms solidify. Men thrive in simplicity. Luxury defined personally. Time, health, freedom, purpose. This chapter closes one era, opens another. Men walked away, peace claimed, return unlikely. As we continue unraveling this intricate tapestry of societal change, let us turn our attention to the psychological dimensions that underpin the choices men are making today. For far too long, men's emotional landscape was largely ignored or dismissed in mainstream conversations. Society expected men to remain stoic, to shoulder burdens without complaint, to provide and protect while suppressing their own needs. Therapy was stigmatized as weakness, vulnerability portrayed as unmanly. Men internalize these expectations, bottling frustrations, powering through pain, often at great personal cost. Mental health statistics reflected this reality. Higher rates of completion and self harm, substance abuse as coping mechanisms, isolation masked as independence. But the walking away phenomenon has flipped the script in profound ways. By removing the primary sources of chronic stress, imbalanced relationships, financial extraction, constant criticism, men are accessing mental clarity and emotional stability they never knew was possible. Consider how relationships often function as emotional battlegrounds. Men entered them seeking partnership, loyalty, respect. Instead, many encountered cycles of testing, emotional volatility, criticism disguised as feedback. Efforts to communicate needs were labeled defensive or fragile, boundaries viewed as controlling. Men learned to walk on eggshells, anticipating mood shifts, managing reactions to avoid conflict. Over time, this eroded self esteem, bred resentment, fostered anxiety. Walking away ended that cycle abruptly. Silence replaced arguments, predictability replaced chaos. Self doubt gave way to self trust. Men report a common experience. The first few months alone feel strange, almost empty. Then peace settles in deeply. Sleep improves, focus sharpens, joy returns in simple things: a quiet morning coffee, a productive workout, an evening with a good book, or a meaningful conversation with friends. This psychological freedom extends into every area of life. Men rediscover hobbies abandoned to accommodate partners' preferences. They pursue goals deferred for relationship maintenance. Ambition reignites without the drag of shared indecision or sabotage. Creativity flows when not second guessed. Physical health improves as stress hormones drop. Cortisol levels normalize, aiding fat loss, muscle retention, immune function. Testosterone, often suppressed by chronic stress, rebounds naturally. Men feel more energetic, confident, alive. Brotherhood fills emotional gaps previously expected from romantic partners. Male friendships deepen when not competing with relationship demands. Groups form around shared interests, fitness challenges, investment clubs, philosophy discussions, outdoor adventures. Vulnerability becomes safe within these circles. Men share struggles, offer solutions, celebrate wins without judgment. Let us paint another vivid story to bring this home. Meet David, a 42-year-old teacher and coach. For 15 years, David was married. He poured everything into the relationship, long hours to provide, coaching kids' sports, household maintenance, emotional support through his wife's career shifts and family dramas. Yet appreciation felt scarce, criticism abundant, finances strained as lifestyle expectations grew. Arguments escalated over trivial matters, often ending in days of silent treatment. David internalized blame, attended counseling alone when his wife refused couples therapy. Exhaustion set in, health declined, weight gain, poor sleep, constant tension. Divorce came suddenly when she announced she was unhappy and wanted out. Settlement favored her. House, primary custody, substantial support. David moved into a small apartment, saw his children limited weekends, paid heavily. Depression hit hard initially, but necessity bred reinvention. David simplified ruthlessly, sold unnecessary items, budgeted tightly, focused on health. Gym became sanctuary, nutrition improved, weight dropped, energy rose. He reconnected with old friends, formed new bonds with divorced fathers navigating similar paths. Therapy helped process grief, rebuild identity. Within 2 years, David transformed. He earned promotions through renewed passion for teaching, saved aggressively, traveled with his kids during vacations, built a modest but comfortable life. Dating attempts proved unnecessary. Peace felt complete. Women showed interest, drawn to his calm strength. He engaged casually when desired, committed never. Happiness self sustained. David often reflects losing everything forced, gaining himself. Peace became non negotiable. Multiply David's journey across professions, ages, cultures. Patterns repeat consistently. Men emerge from relational wreckage stronger, clearer, happier. Minimalism accelerates recovery. Needs shrink. Fulfillment expands. Now, let us examine the flip side more closely, the emotional reality many women navigate today. Empowerment narratives promise liberation without downside, independence celebrated as ultimate goal. Yet human beings are wired for connection, pair bonding, family. Biology reinforces this through hormonal shifts, maternal instincts, long term companionship benefits. Delaying or foregoing these creates cognitive dissonance for many. Content floods platforms, women in 30s, 40s expressing profound regret, not over careers or travel, those often fulfill, but over absent partnerships, children not born, futures alone. Tears flow on camera, voices crack, describing loneliness masked by busy schedules. Friends pair off, family gatherings highlight absence, holidays sting sharpest. Some women adapt resiliently. They build strong networks, pursue passions, embrace child free lives intentionally. Others cycle through dating fatigue, endless apps, superficial matches, ghosting, mismatched intentions. High standards, once empowering, now hinder connection. Men wary of past patterns screen rigorously or avoid entirely. Competition intensifies among women in similar demographics. Frustration manifests as anger toward men collectively, demands for accountability without self reflection. Viral rants declare men immature, fearful of strong women. Yet beneath surface is regret, fear of permanent solitude. Economic realities compound emotional strain, independent living costs mount, housing, healthcare, retirement planning stretch single incomes, safety concerns heighten at night, traveling, home alone, tasks once shared, repairs, heavy lifting, decision making fall solely on shoulders. Energy depletes faster, burnout rises, support systems strain when friends prioritize own families. Contrast sharpens with men's experiences. While women voice increasing isolation, men report expanding social circles. Male only spaces thrive, barbershops as therapy hubs, cigar lounges for deep talks, online communities fostering real connection. Events multiply, men's retreats, fitness camps, philosophy summits, bonds form on shared values, growth, accountability, peace. Technology plays dual roles. It exposes harsh truths, viral content showing both sides raw, but also enables new lifestyles. Remote work frees men to relocate for lower costs, better climates. Digital entrepreneurship explodes. Side hustles fund freedoms. Crypto, stocks, real estate build wealth quietly. Financial literacy spreads rapidly in male circles. Early independence achieved. Women access similar tools, yet participation lags in some areas. Investment communities remain male dominated. Risk tolerance differs on average. Outcomes diverge. Parenthood desires create deepest divides. Women feel biological urgency acutely. Options limited, expensive, uncertain. Single motherhood by choice rises but brings challenges, financial strain, energy demands, lack of partnership support. Men observe, opt out of subsidizing, traditional incentives gone. Cultural narratives struggle catching up. Media pivots slowly from girl boss celebration to exploring loneliness epidemics. Articles question delayed marriage impacts. Experts debate solutions. Policy incentives, cultural campaigns, education shifts, effectiveness limited without addressing root distrust. Younger men integrate lessons natively. Teenage boys consume content warning of risks. Focus shifts early. Education, fitness, finances, purpose. Dating secondary or avoided. Girls notice attention scarcity, adjust behaviors variably. Cycle potentially resets or deepens. Global perspectives add layers. Western trends spread via internet. Asian nations face intensified versions, extreme provider expectations historically, now clashing with modern independence, and birth rates plummet fastest there. European countries and then incentivize families desperately. American individualism accelerates solo living. Religious communities resist longest, traditional values preserved, marriage encouraged. Yet even there, male attendance drops. Young men question blind commitment given secular risks. Political dimensions emerge, voting patterns shift. Single men lean toward individual liberty, lower taxes, fewer social programs. Family oriented policies lose support from those not benefiting. Infrastructure feels strained. Schools downsize with fewer children, elder care burdens grow with unbalanced demographics, pension systems stress. Yet amid challenges, opportunity exists, individuals choosing intentionally, partnerships built on mutual respect, clear boundaries, shared values can thrive. Examples exist, inspire. Balance possible when both sides acknowledge realities. Most men, however, remain content in solitude. Peace hard won, fiercely protected. Luxury and simplicity proven daily. As the story unfolds further into 2026 and beyond, momentum builds. Men walking away multiply quietly. Lives enrich privately. Society reshapes gradually. Core truth endures. When one group declares another unnecessary, believes them, acts accordingly, consequences follow inevitably. Men believed, acted, flourish now. Women navigate aftermath, equilibrium pending. As we push even further into this examination of the profound shift happening in society, let us zoom in on the day to day realities that make the choice to walk away not just understandable, but increasingly attractive for men across all walks of life. Picture waking up on a Saturday morning with no obligations beyond what you choose for yourself. No negotiations over plans, no passive comments about how the apartment could be cleaner. No subtle pressure to spend the day running errands for shared goals that somehow always benefit one side more than the other. Instead, you brew your coffee exactly how you like it, hit the gym at the time that suits your energy, maybe follow it with a long ride on your motorcycle or a quiet hike in nature. Lunch is whatever fuels your body best, not whatever compromise was reached last week. The afternoon stretches open. Perhaps you dive, into that book you have been meaning to finish, work on a side project that excites you, or meet up with friends for a no agenda hangout where conversation flows freely without underlying tension. Evening brings a sense of calm accomplishment. You cook a simple but quality meal, watch a film you actually want to see, and fall asleep knowing tomorrow offers the same freedom. This is not fantasy. This is the lived experience of millions of men today who have embraced minimalism and self prioritization after years of giving more than they received. This daily freedom compounds powerfully over time. Finances grow steadily because every dollar earned stays under your control. No surprise shopping sprees, draining joint accounts, no lifestyle inflation to keep up with expectations. No funding vacations that primarily serve someone else's social media feed. Savings accounts fill faster than imagined. Investment portfolios expand. Emergency funds become robust. The psychological weight of potential financial devastation, once a constant background fear in relationships, lifts entirely. Men describe it as breathing deeply for the first time in years. Decisions become straightforward. Does this purchase or experience add genuine value to my life? If yes, proceed. If no, pass without guilt or argument. Health transformations often follow closely behind. Without the chronic low level stress of navigating emotional minefields, bodies recover remarkably. Sleep deepens as minds quiet. Inflammation markers drop. Recovery from workouts improves. Many men shed excess weight accumulated during years of comfort eating to cope with relational dissatisfaction or late nights resolving conflicts. Energy levels soar. Libido returns naturally when not suppressed by resentment or performance anxiety. Mental sharpness returns. Creativity that was once stifled by constant second guessing flows freely. Men pick up instruments again, start writing, launch businesses, invent solutions to problems they care about. Purpose becomes internally driven rather than externally imposed. Let us bring this to life through another detailed story. Take Ryan, a 38-year-old mechanic from a mid sized American city. Ryan grew up in a traditional household, watched his father work long hours to support the family, internalized the message that a real man provides no matter the cost. He entered relationships with that mindset fully engaged. His 20s and early 30s were a series of commitments where he gave generously time, money, emotional labor. He paid for dates, helped partners through school, covered rent when jobs were lost, planned futures meticulously. Yet patterns repeated. Appreciation faded quickly, demands grew steadily, respect diminished gradually. His last serious relationship lasted 4 years. He supported his girlfriend through career transitions, co signed loans, built savings for a house together. When she decided she wanted more excitement and ended it abruptly, Ryan was left with debt, a broken lease, and a deep sense of betrayal. Recovery felt impossible at first. Friends urged him to jump back in, find someone better. Instead, he paused. Ryan moved into a small but well chosen apartment, sold anything that reminded him of past obligations, focused ruthlessly on basics. Work remained steady. He is skilled, reliable, in demand. Earnings that once vanished into shared expenses now stayed. He paid off debt aggressively, built an emergency fund, started investing. Health became priority. Consistent gym routine, clean eating, 8 hours sleep, body transformed, confidence grew quietly, hobbies resurfaced, working on classic cars for pleasure, not necessity, weekend fishing trips with old buddies, reading history and philosophy in evenings. Social life shifted toward male friends who shared similar experiences. Conversations turned real. Goals, finances, lessons learned, mutual support. Dating apps stayed deleted. Occasional approaches from women at bars or through friends were met politely but without pursuit. Ryan realized something profound. He no longer felt the urge to chase validation through partnership. Peace felt better than any high from early romance ever had. Today, Ryan owns his home outright, travels several times a year, mentors younger mechanics, lives debt free. Women notice the calm stability, express interest. He smiles, chats briefly, moves on. Freedom too sweet to trade. Stories like Ryan's are not outliers. They are the new normal for a growing segment of men. Blue collar, white collar, entrepreneurs, tradesmen all report similar arcs. The common ingredients: remove chaos, add discipline, prioritize self. Results follow predictably: wealth accumulation, health optimization, emotional stability, genuine contentment. Now, let us look at how this individual transformation scales up to reshape communities and local economies. Towns and cities feel subtle but real changes. Bars and restaurants, once filled with couples on date nights, see more groups of men gathering regularly, laughing louder, staying longer, tipping better because disposable income flows freely. Gyms thrive as male membership surges. Personal trainers, supplement shops, fitness apparel brands boom. Automotive hobbyists spend on projects. Outdoor recreation industries explode. Camping gear, fishing equipment, adventure travel bookings, real estate shifts. Single men buy modest but high quality homes or condos, renovate thoughtfully, build equity steadily. Rental markets see stable, low maintenance tenants. Hardware stores benefit from DIY projects no longer delayed by committee decisions. Investment markets absorb the inflow. Single men invest disproportionately higher percentages of income. Index funds, real estate trusts, individual stocks, portfolios diversify and grow. Financial advisors report surging male clients focused on early retirement strategies. Fire movement, financial independence, retire early. Communities swell with men achieving goals years ahead of schedule. Crypto adoption remains strong among this demographic, as does precious metals and alternative assets. Wealth gap between single men and others widens noticeably. Contrast this with challenges emerging in female dominated consumer sectors. Industries reliant on wedding spending, venues, dresses, planners, contract steadily. Jewelry sales for engagement rings decline year over year. Luxury date night experiences struggle. High end cosmetics and fashion face pressure as disposable income tightens for many women navigating independent costs. Housing markets in urban centers see rising female single occupancy, often in smaller units or with roommates longer than planned. Travel companies note shifts. Solo male adventure trips surge while couple focused romantic getaways stagnate. Education systems feel ripples too. Boys, observing outcomes around them, focus energy differently. Academic performance in trades, STEM, entrepreneurship rises. College enrollment gaps widen as young men question debt for degrees with uncertain payoff, opting instead for skilled labor or direct business paths. Mentorship from older walking away men guides choices. Learn high value skills, avoid debt traps, build assets early, protect peace always. Family structures evolve rapidly. Multi generational households decline as men retain independence. Grandparent involvement shifts. Holiday gatherings shrink or reconfigure. Support networks among men strengthen. Chosen family replaces traditional blood ties and emotional importance. Spiritual and philosophical pursuits deepen for many. Men explore meaning beyond provision. Churches see selective return. Those offering male focused growth ministries thrive, others fade. Meditation, Stoicism, Eastern philosophies gain followers. Retreats sell out. Books on self mastery dominate male reading lists. Political engagement changes subtly. Single men vote for policies enhancing individual liberty, lower taxation, reduce government dependency programs. Support for family subsidies wanes when personal benefit absent. Foreign policy leans non-interventionist. Why sacrifice when traditional incentives gone? Global variations enrich the picture. In Scandinavian countries, generous welfare once masked imbalances. Now, even there, male withdrawal accelerates. Eastern Europe resists longer due to cultural tradition, yet younger cohorts adopt Western patterns via internet exposure. Latin America sees hybrid responses, machismo clashing with modern independence claims. Africa and Middle East maintain stronger traditional pulls, but urban educated men begin questioning. Technology continues enabling everything. Remote work untethers men from high cost cities, van life, digital nomadism, off grid living gain traction. Content creation around male self improvement explodes. Podcasts, channels, courses teaching finance, fitness, mindset, communities monetize knowledge, creating self sustaining ecosystems, and women respond in diverse waves. A growing minority embraces parallel self reliance, building wealth, health, networks independently. Female investment groups form, fitness communities expand, solo travel rises. Yet majority sentiment, reflected in widespread content, leans toward frustration, calls for male return, external blame. Accountability conversations emerge slowly, often drowned out. Bridging attempts appear sporadically. Dating coaches advocate mutual respect, realistic expectations. Events promote balanced connection. Success stories inspire, remain exceptions. Core dynamic remain unchanged. Trust remains fractured deeply. Rebuilding requires more than words. Consistent actions over years, systemic fairness restoration, cultural narrative shift, timeline long. Men, meanwhile, continue thriving privately. Daily peace compounds into lifelong fulfillment. Regret minimal, freedom absolute. As 2025 draws to a close and we look toward 2026, trajectory clear. More men awaken daily, more lives simplify luxuriously, more resources retained, more purpose self defined. Society bends around this reality slowly but inevitably. The era of automatic male sacrifice ends. The age of chosen peace begins. Men walked away, found themselves, and never looked back. What did you think about what was discussed? Do you agree with these observations? Leave a comment sharing your thoughts. I read them all and value honest perspectives. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.